5 fights to make after UFC 312, Dricus du Plessis vs. Strickland. 2.5 fights to book after UFC 312. What's next for the night's biggest winners? UFC 312 delivered electrifying action at Sydney's Kudos Bank Arena, with Dricus du Plessis retaining his middleweight championship in a commanding rematch against Strickland. With champions solidifying their reigns and rising contenders making statements, the matchmaking possibilities are intriguing. Here are 5 fights that make sense following the events of UFC 312. 1. Dricus du Plessis vs. Khamzat Chimaev. With du Plessis, 23-2, defending his middleweight belt in a decisive fashion against Strickland, 29-7, the division needs a fresh challenger. Enter Khamzat Chimaev, 13-0, the undefeated powerhouse who has been knocking on the door of title contention. Chimaev's blend of elite wrestling and relentless pressure could present an entirely new challenge for du Plessis, making this a matchup with serious intrigue. Dana White himself hinted at this fight post-event, and with Chimaev eager for his first title shot, it feels like the right move. 2. Sean Strickland vs. Jared Cannonier 2. Despite falling short in his rematch against du Plessis, Strickland remains one of the top middleweights in the division. A rematch with Jared Cannonier, 17-6, makes sense, especially since Cannonier won their first encounter via split decision in 2022. Both fighters bring an aggressive striking style, and with Cannonier returning from injury, this fight could serve as a potential title eliminator. 3. Zhang Weili vs. Valentina Shevchenko. Zhang Weili, 26-3, once again displayed her dominance at strawweight, outclassing Tatiana Suarez with an all-around masterclass. With no clear-cut challenger left in her division, a superfight with flyweight queen Valentina Shevchenko, 23-4, seems like the best move. Shevchenko has long been one of the most technically sound fighters in the UFC, and her size and skill set make her a formidable challenge for Weili. With White already floating the idea of this matchup, it may not be long before we see 2 of the best female fighters collide. 4. Talison Teixeira vs. Sergey Spivak. Heavyweight prospect Talison Teixeira, 8-0, made a massive statement with his first-round finish over Justin Tafa. To gauge where he stands in the division, a bout against Sergey Spivak, 16-4, would be a fitting test. Spivak's grappling-heavy approach would challenge Teixeira in new ways, and a win over a ranked opponent like Spivak could fast-track him toward the top of the division. 5. Jake Matthews vs. Michael Chiesa. After picking up a second straight win, Jake Matthews, 20-6, deserves a step up in competition. A fight against Michael Chiesa, 16-7, would provide an excellent measuring stick for the Australian contender. Chiesa, a seasoned veteran with strong grappling, presents a stylistic contrast that could test Matthews' evolving skill set. With both fighters needing a win to stay relevant in the welterweight rankings, this matchup makes sense. Final thoughts. UFC 312 was a night of statement performances, and as the dust settles, the matchmaking opportunities are endless. Whether it's du Plessis facing Chimaev, Weili chasing double champion status, or rising stars like Teixeira getting a real test, the UFC has plenty of exciting fights to book in the aftermath. Let's see what unfolds next.